जी बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। ये क्लास जो है ओ लेवल इकनॉमिक्स के एमसीक्यूज़ को प्रिपेयर करने के लिए मैं ले रहा हूँ। और इसका पर्पज़ ये था कि जो मैंने टारगेट्स दिए थे आप लोगों को, ये डे वन का टारगेट आप लोगों ने किया होगा। डे वन के बाद दो पेपर डे वन में थे जो कल करने थे, 27 को मंडे को करने थे। लेकिन
जी।
आज के जो दो पेपर हैं वो हम यहाँ से स्टार्ट हो रहे हैं। वो एक एक क्वेश्चन करके साथ साथ करते हैं ताकि आपको कुछ आता भी होगा, लेकिन चलें कुछ ना कुछ यू विल लर्न। ये है हमारा आज वेडनेसडे 29 का टारगेट, जो 29 नहीं 28 का, 28 पीछे है। ये है मेरे पास 28, डे टू 28 और 28 आज आज ट्यूसडे 2024। और इसमें दो पेपर जो है वो हमने करने हैं। एक मार्च 2020 का। आप मुझे सुन रहे हैं? जो दो दो तीन स्टूडेंट हैं। आप मरियम, आपको आवाज़ आ रही है मेरी? सही है।
जी।
नतालिया, आवाज़ आ रही है?
जी, आवाज आ रही है।
नतालिया। हम्म। आवाज़ आ रही है मेरी कि नहीं आ रही, बताओ मुझे।
यस।
अच्छा, ठीक हो गया। ठीक है। सो स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट MCQ, that the question is March 2022. What is not the factor of production? The question is, what is not the factor of production? It's a very easy question. Not the factor of production means that a banknote, factor of production are the land, labor, capital, and enterprise. So yes, office is capital. Office is capital. Photocopier machine is the capital because it's a man-made resource. Secretary is also a labor because she work for the wages. So what left is definitely the banknote. The banknote itself is not a resource. It is not the resource. It represents the note actually represents a resource. For example, if the note is of 5,000 Pakistani rupees, then it probably represents some value that is possessed in some other article things. So this is, so the first answer is A. It is not the factor of production. Now the question number two is, the diagram show the production possibility curve of a country producing at point T. Currently the economy is at point T, and this means that the economy is devoting its resources this much, the blue colored bar, to health services, and health services are here. So the country has aging population and decided to allocate more resources on the production of health. So which movement show its change in its resource allocation? So health services are on vertical axis and non-health services are horizontal axis, and the statement indicate that the country is uh, allocating more resources on the production of health services. So they are shifting from non-health to health. So they will move from T to V point, because then the health services, which is represented in the vertical axis, the vertical bar will be taller than the horizontal. So this health services will move, more health services means they are moving from T to V. Huh? You can see the length of the bar, the more bar, and they are reducing the non-health services. Earlier, I'm col- trying to color it. It's a green color. It was like this much green was spending on the non-health services. It is now reduced. The green color is reduced, this showing that they have reallocated resources, they have diverted their resources from non-health services to the health services. So as a result, The T to V will be the answer. T to V will be the C answer. C is the answer. Question number 2. The question number 3 is that an economy, a deposit of shale oil. So this is the piece of land, and the piece of land could be used for farming. One purpose is it could be used for farming, and secondly, there is discovery of shale oil. Oil is discovered deep inside the earth, this piece of land. So the discovered oil, a deposit of shale oil is discovered in an area of farming. Earlier it was farming being done. The following estimates are made for the 10-year period if the land is used only for farming. If it is used for farming, it would yield income tax of 10 billion. 10 billion income tax. If the land is used for the shale oil extraction, it would yield an income after tax of 40 billion. So this means if it is only used for farming, it would income will be generated to the extra 10 million. And if it is used for the oil extraction, it will generate the shale oil extraction. It would yield income of after tax. There is tax also. The government would receive 5 billion in taxes from farming and 10 million in the taxes from the oil extraction. So what the question is? The question is, what is the opportunity cost of using the land only for farming? Only for farming. So the definition of the opportunity cost is that opportunity cost of the cost of next best alternative given up. So if the use is used for the farming, this means that it would not be used for, it will not be available for the non-farming or for oil extraction. So if they are using only for farming, only for farming, so
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, ये आपने अभी स्टार्ट किया सर? ये क्या करा रहे हो आप?
क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 में हम लोग, ठीक है, अब क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 में तो
सर कौन सा ईयर?
आप बस इधर देखो, ईयर ये जो आज का टारगेट हमारा चल रहा था ये वो चल रहा है, ठीक है। तो आप इसमें देखेंगे कि द अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट, व्हाट इज़ द अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ऑफ यूजिंग द लैंड ओनली फॉर फार्मिंग। अगर ये फार्मिंग के लिए यूज़ करते हैं तो फार्मिंग से इनको रेवेन्यू मिलेगा। द फार्मिंग विल यील्ड अ रेवेन्यू ऑफ 10 मिलियन है ना, बिलियन। एंड फॉर oil extraction they can earn the revenue of 40 billion. So the opportunity cost of using the farming is not using it for the extraction. So the difference between this will be the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, the other name for opportunity cost is the opportunity lost. Opportunity lost. Opportunity lost means that, so if they are using the land for the farming, 10 million is, yes, they are receiving the value of the 10 million, but they are sacrificing 30 million for not using the same land for the oil extraction. So the B will be the answer. The opportunity cost of using the land only for farming, 30 billion. 30 सवाल पूछना है तो मुझसे बाद में पूछ लेना, ठीक है, एंड यू कैन इवन मिडल ऑफ आप पूछ सकते हैं। Now come to the question. The next question is about a country. A country experiences long strike by railway worker. So you know that when strike is made, people are not working. They are not involved in the production of goods and services. As a result, usually when you know the PPC is when economy is using all of its resources at best, then the economy is on the PPC curve. But when some of the resources are not being used, they are idle, they are not working, then economy lose some of the production, low production होती है। The what would be the macroeconomic? Macroeconomic means the whole country, not a specific person. We are talking about the whole country of this strike. What will be the impact on the whole country of this strike? So national output would fall. Yes, output earlier they were able to produce like 20 billion. Now they are producing 50 billion. So output will be lost. When people will be not working, they will not be involved in the production of goods and services. As a result, output, GDP will fall. Output means the GDP will fall. So it could be one of the answer. But we are rejecting the other ones. Railway worker would lose income. This is not the macroeconomic impact, this is personal impact or microeconomics impact. Okay, that it could lose the income. This is not the macroeconomics. So B, we are rejecting the B. The demand for taxi services would rise. This is also the microeconomics impact, that if strikes happen, then the substitute product like the railway or the taxi services will rise. It's a micro, not the whole economy. So it is also, we are rejecting that. The profits of railway operation will fall. This is also not the macroeconomic. This is microeconomic concept. So A is the answer. Why? Because when we are talking about only one product, one industry, one services, it is micro. And when we talking about the economy as a whole, so it's a macroeconomic. We are talking about not only specific to the railway, but when we are talking the demand of all the goods and services produced in the economy, that is the macroeconomic concept. And the question was related uh, to to differentiate you, that whether you know the concept of microeconomics or the macroeconomics. So I think you may have get it. You got it? Yes, most of the yes. You are only the 3% in this class. Himayat 1, the Mariam 2, and Natalia the 3 1. So I think I was expecting like more than 20 students in the class, but people were asking, sir, take class le le. We are facing problem, and when it's time, so they are not appearing. What necessary, what what necessarily describe the market system? You know that market economic system is a system when the resources are allocated on the basis of demand and supply. Demand and supply, there is no government involvement in the market economic system. So in market economic system, there is no government. So an economy with both private and public sector, no, because in market economy there is only private sector. A is not right. Limited resources but unlimited want, it exists in all the economy, whether it is the market economy, the mixed economy, what type of economy. This is the macro, this is the problem. It's not related with some type of economy. So yes, we are rejecting that. So resources are allocated through demand and supply. Yes, this is the answer. So C is the right answer in this case. Now come to the fourth question, question number 6. In 2018, the UK government introduced a tax on the production of sugary drink, fizzy drinks पे उन्होंने tax लगा दिया है. What the purpose of tax is usually so the young people or any other people use less of the sugary drink, and because obesity is the problem all around the world, obesity. So sugar drinks. What would this affect the market for drinks? How this will affect the tax will affect on that market as shown on the demand and supply diagram. So we can say that who have left who left the cases, who left the classes. Dawood is yes inserted, Himayat, and then Mariam has left the class. Okay. So this is the demand for drinks, and this is the supply for drink. Demand for drink and the supply for drink, and currently the market is at this place. Like let's suppose this is price P and this is Q. So what happening? The government is imposing the tax. What would this affect the market for sugary drink? The the government, the UK government introduced tax on production. Means when tax is imposed on the goods and services, then the supply curve shift to the leftward. Earlier this is the supply S and now it is S1. So the new equilibrium is changed from E to E1. E1. So as a result, the price will shift up and the new equilibrium will be like here quantity. So they say कि how this affect the market of sugary drink as shown in the demand supply diagram. Demand for the sugary drinks, yes, demand for sugary drinks will, the contraction will occur, because when the change is along the demand curve, when the change is along the demand curve has not shifted either leftward or the rightward, rather supply curve is shifted. So there will be contraction in the demand. There will be contraction in the demand. The contraction in the demand, the contraction is the only option available in the demand curve, and there will be leftward shift in the supply curve. There is shift to leftward. So in demand curve there will be contraction, because it is the curve is shifting on the same line along the demand, and there will be a shift in the supply curve. So A is the answer in this case. Now come to the question number 7. Question number 7 is about what is not held constant when constructing a supply curve for the firm. So supply is the quantity of a product that seller is willing to sell. So if the price of chicken is 200, then the businesses are willing to sell like 20, like 10 tons of chicken. But when the price is high, so the businesses will be willing to sell more, or will be willing to supply more of the chicken or more of any product. This is supply curve. So you can see that when you are constructing the supply curve, you assume that all other factors are held constant. There is no change in the cost of production. There is no change in the tax rate. Neither the weather is fine. All such other factors are held constant. But only the price, you let the price to change. As a result, you will witness a change in the supply curve. So the only factor is the price. You allow that can be changed. यानी आप यूं कहते हैं कि जब आप मार्केट में सप्लाई का जब डिमांड या सप्लाई बना रहे होते हैं, तो आप ये कहते हैं कि जितने भी अदर फैक्टर्स हैं वो चेंज नहीं हो रहे। हाँ, अगर वो चेंज हो, वो हेल्ड कांस्टेंट, उनमें चेंज नहीं आ रही, सिर्फ प्राइस में चेंज आने की वजह से जो डिमांड में या सप्लाई में चेंज आती है, उसे आप जो है वो विटनेस करते हैं या उसको ऑब्जर्व करते हैं, उसको देखते हैं आप जो है वो नहीं देखते कि ऑल अदर फैक्टर। तो यहाँ पर लिखा व्हाट इज़ नॉट हेल्ड कांस्टेंट व्हेन कंस्ट्रक्टिंग द सप्लाई कर्व। तो इसमें इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस चेंज हो रहे हैं कि नहीं हो रहे, हम उसको कांस्टेंट, हम वी थिंक दैट टैक्सेस आर नॉट चेंजिंग, सो ये नहीं हो सकता। द लेवल ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, वो भी आप उसको कांस्टेंट कंसीडर करते हैं। द प्राइस ऑफ द फैक्टर ऑफ प्रोडक्शन, द प्राइस ऑफ फैक्टर ऑफ प्रोडक्शन, यानी जब भी कोई चीज़ बनती है वो लैंड लेबर कैपिटल से मिलके बनती है, तो हम उसकी प्राइस अगर चेंज हो जाए तो उससे भी आइदर शिफ्ट हो जाता है सप्लाई कर, तो शिफ्ट वाले फैक्टर को तो हम नहीं कर रहे। द मार्केट प्राइस ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट, यस, इसकी बात हो रही है। ये जो है अगर हो, इसको हम नॉट हेल्ड कांस्टेंट, इसको हम नहीं कांस्टेंट कहते। इसमें आप देखें चेंज आती है, 200 से 300 होती है, या फिर ज़्यादा होगी तो ज़्यादा चेंज आएगी। तो इसमें 7 तक हमने ये देखा कि when we are constructing the supply curve or the demand curve, we are not held we are holding all other factors that can make a change on in that market, but we held constant sum of the factor. So now come to the question number 8. What is trade union? And we know that trade union is an organization of employee that unite together for their interest. Trade union is the organization of employee. So what the first option is, that a business organization in which all workers share ownership. No, trade union is not about the ownership. It remain employee, they are working. So A is not correct. We are rejecting A. An area where there are no barriers to trade. This is no go area, no trade area. This is no such thing. This is not the concept is not related with the trade union. Trade union is the group of peoples in any business that sit together, they unite together to pursue their interest of high salary, the good working condition, etc. So B is not related. I'm rejecting that. An organization of the employer. Employer are those who provide the jobs. So employers are not the employee. Employee are the person जो कंपनी के मालिक होते हैं, उनको employer कहते हैं. एम्प्लॉई और चीज़ है. एक है एम्प्लॉई, MPLOY, एम्प्लॉइज. एक है एम्प्लॉयर जो देता है. तो दिस इज ऑल्सो रॉन्ग. सो एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन दैट रिप्रेजेंट द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ वर्कर. Yes, this is an organization. This is the organization of worker who say, unite together. So D is the right option here. Now question number 9 is about, okay, what is important characteristics of money? Most important characteristics. This is the most important, means there may be more characteristics, but you have to identify the most important characteristics. There are some, what is called some function of money. Some function means what the money do. Functions are, there are 4 important function of money. First, medium of exchange. It help in exchange of goods and services. It store the value. It serve as a unit of account. We can measure the worth of something. And a standard for deferred payment. A standard for deferred payment. These are function, but along with the function there are some characteristics. The function is different from characteristics. If you go to your book, you will see that there is a difference between the function and characteristics of money. So this, you will find this in your book, the banking. This one is money and banking. So the function of monies, this is the function of money. Function of monies are, the function of monies are medium of exchange. The first one, with the money we can buy, we can exchange the goods and services, and we can measure the value of something. So if I say 10 rupee book and the 100 rupee book, so you can differentiate the value of something using money. If there is no money, you will not rightly describe the value of something. Store of value, this means you can earn today and you can use it later on in future. So there is the ability of money to store the value. And a standard for deferred payment, you can trade in future, because you know in after 5 year time we will, if I am borrowing 100,000 rupee from Himayat, and then the money have the ability to trade in the future, and I will ask the Himayat, I will return 300,000, because I know that in the future the value will be different than what it is today. So with these features, these are the function is something very important. Function means the function of heart is to pump the blood, the first function of brain is to think and cognitive skills. In the same way, this is the main function of the money, what the money do. But characteristics are something different. Characteristics means if the characteristics are good, then the function will be performed better. So money should be durable. This means that money should not last too much. There are some, you know that the currency note and coin notes not lost their physical shape and the value easily. And even now the plastic money is being involved in some of countries, like polymer banknotes. Acceptability, everyone should be acceptable, accept this is the most important, that the currency should be durable, but as well as it should be acceptable. Everyone should accept the money. If money is not accepted, then there will be divisibility, means you can divide the money into some small denomination. For example, you can convert the 500,000 note into 1,000 notes, and 1,000 note is further divided into 100 notes, and 100 notes is further divided into. So divisibility makes the transaction easy. You can change that. And uniformity, each currency note should be uniform, means same shape and same design होना चाहिए उसका. Scarcity means it should be limited, it should not be much abundant. It should be limited. Portability means it should be, you can travel it, you can move it around here and there easily. So these are some of the function of correctly. And the question asked here is that what is the most important, not the function, but they are talking about the characteristics, most important characteristics, not the function are this one, and characteristics. So it has intrinsic value. Intrinsic and extrinsic value have some different. Who left the class? So this means that this is something warning from that you can. Okay, so this is that it has intrinsic value. Intrinsic value and extrinsic value means the 500 note has, this is 5,000 rupee note, and the paper value of the money is probably like 10 रुपये. जो इसमें कागज़ इस्तेमाल हुआ है जो नोट का वो 10 रुपए का हुआ, लेकिन द इंट्रिंसिक जो इसके अंदर खुफिया जो इंट्रिंसिक मीन्स द सीक्रेट आर द पोजेस्ड वैल्यू इज लाइक 5,000. So this is intrinsic value. It has intrinsic value. Yes, it is important thing, but it is not the character. It is not the character. Intrinsic value. It's generally acceptable. Yes, if the money is generally acceptable, it is the money. It is portable. Yes, this is also the characteristics. But I think in both the acceptability is more important than portability. And it is readily available. This is not the characteristics. This means money is not readily available. It's available after some efforts. Readily available means whenever you want the money, you reach it. You have it, but it's not possible every time. So this means that it is out of these two characteristics, the most important is about its generally acceptability. So everyone should accept it. If it accepted it, then it will be money. If it is not accepted by others, it will not be a money. Now question number 10 is which statement explain. Question number 10, which statement explains why the pay of doctors is usually higher than the pay of hospital cleaner? Yes, why doctors are taking too much salary than the cleaner? What these doctors have higher opportunity cost of qualifying. This means doctors spends lot of money and time and efforts to qualify, rather than making a cleaner. Cleaner required like a few day training or 1 day training, but doctors required like 10 to 20 years, like 20 years of training to become a doctor. So this means higher opportunity cost. This option could be the right option, but what other option? Why we are rejecting other? Doctor have more elastic supply. Elastic supply means if the persons are large in number, so it is elastic in supply. This is the supply. If there are many people working, then it is elastic. If very few people are available for work, then it is inelastic. Inelastic means very few suppliers are there, very few people. So doctors have more elastic supply. No, cleaners are more elastic supply. Cleaners are in large quantities are available. So this is wrong in case of doctor. If it were written like here the cleaner have, so would then it would have right. Then the C part is the hospital cleaners belong to the trade unions, which with stronger bargaining power. Trade union can influence the price and the salary, but not too much that it can have more salary than the doctors. So it's not right. Trade unions even not allowed in some countries and no such strong bargaining power. So hospital cleaners have more inelastic demand. Inelastic demand, no. Inelastic demand means whatsoever price you will pay, they will demand means that people wants the cleaner so much that whatsoever price you will demand, the cleaner will offer their services, otherwise they will not offer. So this means this is true in case of the doctor, but not in case of the cleaner. Hospital cleaners have more inelastic demand. No, the doctors have more inelastic demand. So D is not the right option. Now come to the 11. Bank decreases interest rate. When interest rate decreases, people buy more goods. People buy the loan and do more consumption. When interest rate is low, people, the businesses more investment, they demand more investment. So, but the problem is that when there is low interest rate, people's demand more loans, borrow more loans, borrowing increases. But at the same time, those who save have less reward for saving. Therefore, saving will decline. So they will consume their money rather than saving, because if the interest rate is high, they will earn more future return on that. Therefore, they will save more. So when the interest rate is low, the decrease, this is decreased interest rate means borrowing at the lower, borrowing will rise. So it could be like C and D, and saving will fall, because at the lower interest rate, a lower interest rate, the saver, people will not save, therefore the saver will fall. So C will be the answer here in this case, C option. So now come to the table show the cost of firms. Cost of firms. What is the average total cost? Average total cost. Average total cost means the cost of producing one unit of item. This is called average total cost. If the firm produces 20 goods, so to calculate the average total cost, we first find the total cost and then we divide it by output. एवरेज का मतलब होता है एक चीज़ बनाने पे जो खर्चा आता है, एंड द टोटल कॉस्ट इज एक्चुअली द फिक्स कॉस्ट प्लस द वेरिएबल कॉस्ट. So total cost means the fixed cost here is the fixed cost. What is the fixed cost? This is the fixed cost is the 40, and the variable cost is 2 per unit raw material used in one product. So 2 multiply by 20, because when you are producing 1 unit, you will buy 20 rupees raw material, and when you are producing 20 units, then your total cost will be like 40, and this will be like 40. So total cost will be 80. And average total cost, the formula for average total cost is the 80 divided by 20, because you are producing 20 units. So this means your average total cost will be 4. So this will be the answer, the 4 one. If you find any difficulty, you can go through the recorded lecture. The lecture is being recorded. You can see it with a slower pace. You can reduce the playing speed. You can even increase the playing speed. You can skip some of the unnecessary part where you know things. So recorded lecture is the best way to use your time. Now, the question number 13 is, when is profit maximization achieved? We know profit is maximized high, where total revenue is quite high and total cost is low. So the maximum difference between the total revenue and total cost will give highest possible profit. रेवेन्यू का मतलब है जो आप चीज़ बेचकर पैसे कमाते हैं, उसको रेवेन्यू कहते हैं. रेवेन्यू मीन्स the amount business earn by selling the product. So total revenue is like, let's suppose 100, and the total cost is 60. So the difference between these two is the profit. The question is that what is the profit maximization achieved? The profit maximization. So when there is highest possible difference between the total revenue and the total cost, so that will be the highest possible प्रॉफिट विल बी अचीव. सब लोग समझते हैं कि जब आमदनी ज़्यादा हो और उसको बनाने का खर्चा कम हो, द हायर विल बी द प्रॉफिट, देन प्रॉफिट विल बी मैक्सिमाइज्ड. सो ऑल अदर ऑप्शंस आर नॉट valid. You can go through the other option slowly and gradually. I'm skipping it for the time to save the time. Now the question number 14, in some industries, you know, industries is different than firm. Firm is a single unit, and industry is all the firms producing similar product. So Nestle is a firm, single firm, but industry is all the firms producing juices is called the juice industry, the car industry, the airline industry, the internet service provider industry. Industry is all the firm producing similar good. So in some industry, a monopoly control output and prices. Monopoly is a situation when in the whole industry there is only a single firm, no other firm. So the firm and industry is same in the case of monopoly. So monopoly is a situation when there is only a single, mono means one. There is only one. एक उर्दू में यूं लिखते हैं ना. There is one seller in the whole industry, that is called monopoly. What is the famous, what is most likely impact of this on consumer? When there is single seller, then definitely they will charge higher prices. Why higher prices? Because there is no other. People have to buy it from, there is no other rival firms who can sell it at the lower. So consumer will buy it, either he is charging higher prices or the lower prices. So this is the case of monopoly. Now come to the question number 15. A mining company extract the natural resources from the earth's core. Like mining company bought another mining company. So this is one mining company and this is another mining company. So both are similar, same stage of production, similar type of industries. Then it is called horizontal integration, horizontal merger. This is called horizontal merger. जब दोनों शाहीन और डिवाटसन आपस में क्या हो जाए, मिल जाए, then it will be called horizontal. Horizontal means इस तरह से होती है. And there are other vertical and conglomerate integration. Anyone who are interested in Dawood or Himayat, then I will tell you after the class. This is the horizontal integration because both are doing the same type of worker. So like Uber bought the Kareem, both were doing the same type of business. This is horizontal merger. So if Toyota buy or merge with Suzuki company, then it will be horizontal integration. But vertical integration is something different. If you buy the supplier business, for example, the Suzuki company buy the company from where it was buying wheel, like जर्नल टायर से वो अपने टायर खरीदती है. If the Suzuki company buy the supplier, then it is called backward vertical integration. Backward vertical. And when the company buy its customer businesses, where it was, for example, if the Suzuki buy the showrooms, earlier the showrooms was their customer, then this means it will be called forward vertical integration. And one another type of integration is called conglomerate integration. Conglomerate integration is when Suzuki company buy a completely different industry. For example, if the Suzuki company buy the KFC, a quite different industry. If a Suzuki company buy the root school, then this means it will be a conglomerate integrations. You think conglomerates are common around the world? Yes, nowadays conglomerates are very common because it reduces your risk of just dealing in one product. So companies actually produce lot of products and lot of other dimensions. So if the business fail in one, then they can earn something from other. Mining company. What is most likely to cause more even distribution of income? Distribution of income means the difference between rich and poor. Distribution means what is the inequality. What is most likely to cause a more even का मतलब ये होता है कि when there is less inequality. There is, this is person and this is inequality. In our country, some people are quite rich and some are poor, so we can say this is inequality. But in other European countries, there are some rich, some poor, but there is no such much inequality. So government is trying to make the society more equal. They try certain methods, certain policies, so the difference between rich and poor reduces to certain extent. So in this way, what is the most likely cause a more even distribution? So if government, like for example, an increase in the indirect taxes,
सर क्लास बंद होने वाला है 1 मिनट के अंदर
अच्छा
वार्निंग दी है
ठीक
पता
है,
नहीं
okay,
किस
I'm again sending you the, I'm again, so we are resuming our class. So far we have done, we are in currently question number 16. The question number 16 is what is the most likely to cause more even distribution of income? So even distribution means when there is a less difference between rich and poor. You can see in the uh, above lines that there is a great difference between the poor person and the rich. But here, this is the less difference you can see here. Like this is Scandinavian economies, the Norway, Sweden, Switzerland. The peoples are having almost the same level of income, so less equality. And government try to become more even society. Even society means there is less difference. So what the government can do, the first is that an increase in the indirect tax. When there will be high indirect tax is the tax on consumption. So it will increase the inequality. So this is not the right option. And secondly, an increase in inflation. Inflation also increase the difference between rich and poor. So it is also not, it will not cause the equality. So B, I'm rejecting the B. An increase in the manager salary, yani manager salary will increase. This means the employee salary will be lower. If the CEOs and the directors and the executives get more benefits, then they will be becoming rich at the cost of the poor salary. Therefore, the C is not the option. So what is the right option? The right option is that the D, an increase in the progressive taxation. Progressive taxation is a tax when the rate of tax is higher on the rich people and there is a lower tax of rate on the poor people. Okay? So D is the option here in the 6D. Now come to the next. What is the monetary policy? Monetary policy is the policy of government money, of interest rate, the policy about interest rate and the exchange rate. Interest rate. So what is interest rate? We define the interest rate as the cost of borrowing money. So when we are using the bank money, someone else money, we pay for using that money, and that is called the cost of borrowing. So interest rate is the cost of borrowing. So what is the monetary policy, Mayer? This is all about increasing the interest rate, because monetary policy involved with either increasing or decreasing the interest rate. So A is the right option. We are not delving further directly to next question. So question 18 is, why does more emphasis on education and training? When the government is emphasizing more or spending more money on education and training, this leads to an increase in the output. Output means the GDP increases. Why? Because when government will be spending more money on providing the health and education, if health, the person will be more healthy, he will be productive, he will be doing less sick leaves and other leaves, and he will be doing longer years work. Like Japanese 100 years he will work. In Pakistan, like people stop working at the age of 60 years because they get old. But health and education also help them to equipped with the new knowledge. As a result, it increases the product. So it improves the productivity of the labor force. Yes, health and education increase the productivity. As a result, they contribute more in the output and GDP increases. So yes, the option A is right. The other options are, you can see it, and if you find it that my answer is not correct, then you can ask me why it's not correct, and you can ask the other option why you are not rejecting that. So with 19, in the past, governments have adopted policies to try to end the recession. Recession को खत्म करना है आपने. Recession means the government is trying to end the recession. What recession means? Recession means economy sometime in boom. Sometime economy is at the highest level, boom, and then there is a slowdown in the economy, means GDP is falling. So when GDP is falling for consecutive two quarters, two quarters is of 6 month. एक क्वार्टर 3 महीने का होता है, एक साल में 4 क्वार्टर होते हैं. बस जनवरी से लेकर और मार्च तक एक क्वार्टर है, एंड देन आफ्टर मार्च टू जून एक क्वार्टर होता है, फिर जून से सितंबर एंड सितंबर टू दिसंबर. सो देयर आर 4 क्वार्टर इन एन ईयर. सो इफ द इकोनॉमी GDP falls means the less goods produced than the previous quarter, so it is called It is called the recession. It is called the recession. Okay, which combination of the policies is most likely to achieve this? So what recession is that? Government usually, when the recession is being taken place, government reduce the taxes and increase the spending, government spending. So when the reduce the taxes, people buy more goods. As a result, more goods means when people demand more goods, the businesses produce more goods. As a result, productivity increase, and it the level of drop, the level of decrease reduces. So this means what combination of policy is most likely to achieve this? Lower taxes. Yes, lower taxes is one option. And decrease government spending? No. If government increase, then it will improve. So the first option is not correct. So lower taxes and increase spending? Yes, lower taxes and increased spending will do the job. So B is the right option here in this case. So I took more time to explain this, but anyhow, like it's was easy. The table provides information about the country's labor market. Labor market. You know, unemployment is calculated. Unemployment rate is calculated. Number of unemployed people multiplied by labor force. Labor force. L for labor force multiplied by 100. This is what is unemployment rate in the country. How unemployment is calculated. So unemployment is how many number of people are unemployed. We can, from the table we can see that the size of the labor force is, there are total 1.5 million people in the labor force. 1.2 million people are in labor force. 12 lakh log hai, and out of which 900,000 is employed. So this means 300,000 is unemployed, because labor force is equal to employed people plus unemployed people. Both. So the labor force is 1.2 million, and the unemployed we don't know X, and employed we know 900,000. So this definitely means here it is 300,000 people are unemployed. These are unemployed people. 300,000 unemployed है ये ले लीजिए, and divided by labor force. The formula is the labor force is 1.2 million, this, and multiply by 100. When you do the calculation, you will find 25%. Okay, so the answer is B in this case. What is defined as reduction in the gross GDP for more than 2 consecutive quarter? If the economy or GDP falls for more than 2 consecutive means आगे पीछे 2 दफ़ा, यानी आपने जनवरी से मार्च तक जो है उसमें भी जीडीपी कम हुई है, और मार्च से लेके जून तक भी कम हुई है, यानी 6 महीने अगर जीडीपी कम हो रही हो, if the GDP is falling for consistently 6 months, it will be rather better to say that 6 months, so it will be called recession. So recession is defined when the GDP is falling for consecutive 2 quarter. Question 12 is about a person receive annual interest rate of 4%. मैंने बैंक में पैसे रखे हुए हैं, I am getting 4% on my saving, but at the same time 5% inflation took place. So what inflation is doing? Inflation means when the price of goods and services increases. So inflation actually erode the value of money, erodes, ख़त्म कर देती है. So I am earning 4%, but my erosion take place by 5%. This means I am getting nothing from on the bank saving account. Rather, my own money is being spoiled. So 1% reduction will take place. What is the approximate change in the real value of saving? So my saving will reduce by 1%, because 4% is increase, yes, it is increase, but 5% is decrease due to the inflation. So overall there is 1% fall in the in the rate. So come to an increase, to question number 23, an increase in which of the following is least likely to cause inflation? This means all other options will increase the inflation, but one is that which is not likely cause the inflation. So consumer spending, if people consume more, then the demand is more, aggregate demand will more, and usually price higher. So it will cause inflation. So A is not the option. When government spending increase, it also increase the aggregate demand, so prices get higher. So it also not cause the inflation. But when government increase the least likely, this is increase now. When government tax increases, so aggregate demand falls. Agree. As a result, prices get lower. So this is like the one option in which will not cause the inflation. It will reduce the inflation. But so this could be the answer. And wage rate, when wage is higher, so people have higher income, and as a result, the demand will increase and the prices will increase. So it also will cause the inflation. So income tax will increase in the income tax, and increase in the income tax will not cause the inflation, it will reduce the inflation. So question number 23 done. Question 24 is like the Japan economy. A country has declining population, like Japan is facing, Japan, Italy, Portuguese, and so many other European countries are witnessing fall in their population growth rate. Huh? Women are not interested in bearing the child because they are interested in doing the work and enjoying the life. So this means the country is declining population. It also has changing population structure in which the size. It also means that the labor force is falling. The people of age uh, 15 to 64 are the people who actually work in the economy. They are part of the labor force. They could do work because younger than 15 years old are not in the capacity to do the physical works, and secondly the बूढ़े भी नहीं कर सकते 64 से. So this is basically the labor force. So the question is that it also has changing population structure in which the size of the age group is becoming smaller. So less people are available for work. This is the situation. How could this immediately reduce labor supply shortages? So what action among these four is the option which solve this problem? I mean the shortage, there are shortage, because shortage is that labor force is not available. So what these option will reduce that shortage is that immigration means if the government allow more foreigner to come in, immigration, import of the country, then the foreigner will be available for work, so it will solve the problem. So your answer is, in this case, is A is the answer. So now come to HDI. What is the next question is about the Human Development Index. HDI ranks human development countries from 0 to 1. Means every country is ranked based on three criteria. HDI has been calculated using three factors. For example, the income level, what is the GDP per capita, GDP per head, what is their education levels in the country, and what is their health levels. So all three is calculated to make a composite measure. It could be between 0 and 1. Those countries who are near to 1 is called highly developed country means they are humanly developed, and the countries who are nearby 0 is less developed country. So what does calculation of HDI not take into consideration? When economy is calculating the HDI, what is not taken into consideration? So estimated life expectancy at birth, this show the education level, this show the health level, so it is usually included when we calculate the HDI. So option A is not. Information on the number of year of schooling, this show education level, how many years a person will attend the school. This show the education level, so it is also included. So this is not in option. A regional inequalities on investment in human capital, yes, when we are calculating the HDI, we take into account the education, health, and GDP. We not include the what is the inequality, regional inequality, rich और poor के बीच में कितना फर्क है. This is not taken in when we are calculating. This is the right option. And standard of living, like income GDP per head is taken, so it is not the option. So C is the option. Now come to the next question. Which combination of the changes is most likely to result in the fall in the living standard? The living standard तब कम होता है when GDP falls. When GDP falls, this means that people on the average having less income. When GDP falls, people will witnessing or observing lower level living standard. कम living standard कम हो जाता है उनका when people are living. ठीक है. Secondly, inflation. Inflation means when inflation rise, then inflation erode the value of money. Erode, लोगों के पैसे खींच लेती है. हाँ, लोगों को पुअर बना देती है. People's affordability reduces, so it reduces fall in the living standard causes. And when population rise, this means less money is available to available people. When population rise, more बच्चे, more मुल्क की population, then the income will be distributed among more people. As a result, the living standard fall. So B is the option here. 27. What is most likely effect of a decrease in the tariff? What is most likely to affect decrease in the tariff? What tariff is? Tariff is when this is some country, and when other countries send goods like कार शायद देखें, बड़ी मज़े की कार बना रहा हूँ मैं, मुझे बनानी नहीं आती. ये ले ले द लुम्बरगिनी, ये ले ले लेमोजीन. अच्छा, अब ये एक गाड़ी इस मुल्क में अब आएगी तो देर आर टैरिफ लाइक द कंट्री से, दिस इज कंट्री ए, द कंट्री से इफ़ यू पे 400% प्राइस ऑफ द कार, देन वी विल लेट यू ऑपरेट. This is most likely effect of when it is reduced from 400 to 200%. When tariff is reduced, then cheaper car will be available to the people of that country. So this means the price level fall, and as a result inflation rate usually क्या होगा, कम हो जाता है. तो देखा increase inflation, no, reduce the inflation होता है. तो this is wrong. Increase consumer choice, yes, foreign made goods will be available, so it will increase the consumer choices. Yes, that's right. B is the right answer.
सर डिमांड पुल इन्फ्लेशन नहीं होगी?
When demand pull inflation means when people have more pull inflation means when people have more income and less goods are available. Means people have more income, पैसे लोग हैं उनके पास ज़्यादा, चीज़ें कम हो. And when there are more goods available from foreign goods available, so this means demand, अगर लोगों की ज़्यादा भी हुई है तो supply will also be increased in form of foreign goods. So demand pull inflation will not take place. It will even reduce the demand pull. It will reduce the inflation. It will not increase the inflation. Secondly, the foreign goods are comparatively cheaper. That's why they are selling here. If foreigner think that the Pakistani goods are expensive or cheaper than their country, their products, then they will not import. They will not export to the Pakistan. अगर पाकिस्तान में एक पेंसिल बनती है 10 रुपए की और चाइना वाले उसको 15 रुपए की बनाते हैं, तो दे विल नॉट सेंड हेयर. And if they can sell it the lower cost, for example 7-8 रुपए की बना के बेच सकते हैं, तो then they will send to us and we will buy the foreign goods. So this means when they can sell the good at a lower cost, then they start selling. So it will reduce the inflation होती है. तो imported goods are considered मुल्क में cheaper होती हैं. अच्छा, आगे चलते हैं ज़रा, इसमें 28 की तरफ चलते हैं. that what would increase the demand for countries currency? एक्सचेंज रेट कब हमारा बढ़ जाता है, हमारे रुपए को लोग इज्जत दें, कहें जी हमें रुपया चाहिए. Why? The foreigner demand the money when they start buying goods from Pakistan. If Pakistani rupees will appreciate it, exchange rate will appreciate it. When Pakistani products become famous in the foreign countries, they will buy more mango, they will buy more Pakistani rupees. As a result, the value of the currency will be increased in the foreign currency. When increase in the demand for currency in the foreign exchange market, this could be happen an increase in the exports. Whenever exports will higher, people will buy more goods from Pakistan. So before buying the goods, they will first buy the currency of that economy, वो भी ले लेंगे. And now come to how the current account is, how current account. The question is, the table show selection of economic data for a country. किसी एक मुल्क का दिया हुआ है. What is current account balance? Current account क्या होता है? The current account of balance of payment consists of the four things: the trade of goods, the trade of services, the primary income, and the secondary income. The four are the part of the current account: trade of goods, trade of services, primary income, and the secondary income. So now I'm writing here in step by step the trade of goods and the trade of services, then primary income and the secondary income. So what is the value of the trade of goods? So this is the trade of goods is here. Trade of goods is here. This is the exports of goods and this is the import of goods. So we are basically exporting less, exporting 1000 and importing 2000. So there is a deficit in the current account, deficit to the extent of 100,000. So trade of good account is in deficit. Now come to the trade of services. The trade of services is here. This is trade of services. This is trade of services. So we are the trade of, no, this is not the trade of services. I wrongly, this is trade of services. So we are exporting more goods and importing less. So there is surplus of 600 rupee in the trade of services account. And the primary income is already being calculated. This is the primary income. Net means they have already calculated the inflow and outflow. This is the plus 1000. And the secondary income, this is the secondary income. This is also called net. This means they have calculated in and minus 500. So calculate this one. This 1000 positive is set off with, we cut it with this positive, and this is 600 positive and 500 negative. This means 100 positive. 100 is the surplus in the current account of balance of payment with this data. 100. So I think 100, ये वाला, this A is the option here. ये यहाँ पर होगा. Last question in this paper is about a country's changes to the policy of self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency, हर कुछ में हम खुद बनाएंगे. In agriculture, all the agricultural good will be produced by the economy. For example, पाकिस्तान के चीनी हमने अपनी बनानी है, गंदम बनानी है, फ्रूट सब कुछ बाहर से नहीं मंगवाना. So in case of war, we are self-sufficient. ठीक है. Instead of relying on the world supplies, what is likely to happen in the countries as a result? क्या होगा उसकी वजह से? Agricultural prices will rise. I think rise. Agricultural price will rise. Why? Without why rise? Because usually imported goods are cheaper. Because some countries are specialists in certain agricultural goods. We can import the goods from there, and we can export the goods where we have advantage more. So I think the prices will rise when people will start producing each and every agricultural item they want. So farm output will fall. No, farm output will uncertain. We are not precisely say whether it will increase or decrease. More farmer will be unemployed. No farmer jobs will be protected because now country is making self-sufficient. So means this is not right here. There will be no unemployment, but employment will increase. More food will be imported. No, self-sufficiency means the import will be off. So agricultural prices will rise because imported goods are considered usually cheaper. So let's assume that if Pakistan reduce the tariff on car, so the cars are quite expensive here. It will be very cheaper because the car Pakistan is producing is like 3 million. It is being produced in like 500,000 in Japan. So we can take the advantage of the lower price and lower prices. So far we done this paper and we have recorded this lecture as well. I'm very happy you are with me, and you can see this recorded lecture. I will send and prepare all these recording lecture. I expect that you will definitely see and will practice and will find any question difficult, then you can ask me. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.